I'm Chris P, and a couple years ago I decided to get together with some artist friends and record our conversations while we draw, maybe have a couple drinks or two. It's probably not funny, the audio quality's not so great, we broke the 180 rule and had to flip the master shot, but if you like listening to artists talk about drawing and shit that happened to them, then maybe this is for you. It's called The Tongue and Pencil. Here we go.
Okay.
We're doing it. The Tongue and Pencil, once again. Our art experiment. Tonight we have Jamie Vickers.
Hello.
Animator extraordinaire.
No, but okay.
Artist, world traveler. What else? What else would you say about yourself?
I like cats and dogs and...
Cat and dog lover.
Bicycles and...
Bicycles.
And Yeah.
Jamie,
Yeah.
thanks for joining us tonight.
No, thank you for having me.
Draw some pictures and talk, bullshit a little bit.
Yeah.
And hey, you got a drink? Cheers.
Oh, yeah.
Cheers.
Here. Have a drink.
All right, here we go.
Yeah. All right.
So, let's start with drawing.
Okay.
So, I like to start these off with like the basic question of like, where'd you grow up?
Oh, I grew up in Philadelphia, just outside Philadelphia.
Whereabouts?
In an area called Jenkintown, Abington.
I know.
Yeah.
How was that?
That was all right. Did a lot of skateboarding back then.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like, how did you start with the art stuff?
I always drew, and I always felt like, my dad was an artist.
Oh.
Is an artist.
Right on.
He's a sculptor.
Oh, that's cool. Shannon's dad is a sculptor.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, he does like medals and things, and worked for the Franklin Mint and
Nice.
did coins for the U.S. Mint and stuff. And so, he drew, and I just kind of, did that too.
So you felt supported early on by your family?
I did. Not my mother so much. My mother was like, "Oh, guys, he's gonna have to get a real job."
She's like, "Don't bend up like your dad."
Yeah. A little bit. My dad was like, "Let him draw." Okay.
Your dad, like he made a living as an artist, not as a hobby. That was his main gig.
No, that was his main thing.
Right on.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And boy, it is hard to draw and talk.
Yeah. A lot of people say that. Just don't think too much about it.
Okay.
Just do whatever comes to mind. You're not gonna end up with the best drawings out of this thing.
No,
Don't worry about it. So your dad's an artist. He
Yeah.
sees you start to draw stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, hey,
And
maybe my kid could be an artist too.
yeah, I guess. I mean, they were just like, all right, if he wants to draw, let him draw. And I don't know. I always felt really comfortable with it, And I knew also that there were. I wasn't so good at a lot of other things.
Yeah.
I
you
felt.
became artist by default.
Yeah, kind of by default. I was horrible at team sports.
Yeah.
And I remember I started school and I was the first picked on basketball.
Yeah.
And
Were you tall back then?
because I was a new kid,
Yeah.
And then they saw me play.
Yeah.
And then after that, I was never the first picked again. I said, well, I better do something else. And and I just started drawing.
Were you like the artist kid in your class?
I was, and I was always kind of independent too. Like I like to do things on my own.
Yeah.
I think.
What do you mean by that?
I don't know, like I just said, like I wasn't very good at team sports, and I was really into skateboarding. That was like my life when I was younger. And I think, thinking back, I think it was like skateboard graphics that influenced me a lot.
Yeah, that makes sense.
More than anything, man, it was skateboarding.
So did you draw a lot of skateboard graphic stuff? Did you customize your friends' skateboards?
Yeah, a lot of Pal Peralta design.
Yeah.
Hands with mouth.
The screaming hand.
Screaming hand, yeah.
Did Pal Peralta, you did those dragons?
Oh, totally.
I love those dragons.
Yeah.
I used to ride around on skateboards as a kid too.
Skull and crossbones.
Yeah. You ever paint people's jean jackets? I would do that.
No, but you know what I did do? I got really into sewing in high school.
Yeah?
And, yeah, like embroidery. Like doing pictures and stuff. Not, like designs, yeah?
Like weird patches and stuff?
Kind of. But I used to put like JV, and then I started getting like a little like fancy with it. And then I had guys from like the football team that wanted me to put like their number like on their hat or on, something, like their bag or something.
So you learned how to do that?
Yeah, I think I did it like for 2 guys on the football team.
And that was before computers.
Yeah, it was before computers.
I mean, computers existed, but you didn't use them to do embroidery.
No, I mean it's just sewing.
I knew a guy who had an embroidery robot.
Really?
You know Joey Schaefer?
Yeah.
You know Belle's his husband?
Uh-huh.
That's an embroidery robot.
Does he really?
You put what you want in the computer,
Uh-huh.
it embroiders it for you with a robot.
Really?
Yeah. You can have like up to like, I don't know what it is. I'm going to say 16 types of thread loaded at once. Maybe it's even more.
Yeah.
Who can know about such things?
Yeah.
Except for Belle's. Their embroidery robot.
That's pretty fascinating.
Technicians, artists, whatever you call that.
I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah, well.
But I guess I should have.
The computers are taking everybody's jobs.
Yeah.
Wait till a computer can make a cartoon. Oh my goodness, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to draw a dog on the back of a bicycle. It's hard to do that and have a conversation.
So,
Yeah.
you go into your high school there, right?
Yeah.
You're doing patches.
I mean, not like it was like,
Every
once
once
or
in a
twice.
while.
Yeah, they say,
You're drawing skateboard graphics, you're drawing
Yeah.
the screaming hands,
Yeah.
you're drawing whatever else. And then do you decide, like, what did you go to one of these art schools? What did you do after that?
Oh man, you're gonna ask me this?
I am going to ask you
Oh
about this.
no. Well, I went to, in Philadelphia, there's a Tyler
yeah.
School of Art, yeah?
Yeah, I know that.
Temple University.
Yeah,
And I went there for a little bit.
like the Bill Cosby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it was. And I don't know, it was kind of like I was still, skateboarding, and I don't think my mind was really set on, what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So I kind of floundered around a little bit.
Yeah.
And then on my 3rd year, I left. I don't really know what I want to do. I was just like kind of a general arts major. I thought photography and all this stuff and fine arts was fun.
Yeah.
But I didn't see myself, I think I was a painting major for a little bit, but I thought, what am I going to do when I leave school? Paint houses?
Yeah.
Like, what am I going to do? Actually, that's what some of my friends were doing, and I thought, I don't really know.
I bet those houses were painted real good.
They were incredible. So I took a year off.
Yeah.
I just kind of worked. At one point, I worked 3 jobs
Well,
and still skateboarded.
I don't know.
Pizza Hut, Blockbuster, and a kitchen supply store.
I don't know. What was the best? What was the best of those 3?
Best of those 3.
If there was a best.
Pizza Hut was pretty damn good.
You get free pizza?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Of course.
that was good.
Yeah.
And then we had
I get free pizza.
yeah, it was all our friends that worked, and we all skated, and we had like a great curb outside that we waxed, and had a
Nice.
little ledge around the corner. And then we used to all go skate afterwards, and we'd all kind of like rock the Pizza Hut uniform. It was like,
That's great.
like a thing. Yeah, everything was pretty cool.
So the Pizza Hut was the cool gig.
That was cool.
Anybody who was working at the Pizza Hut.
Yes, you had, that was there the in crowd was. Yeah.
Hey, just so you know, we got one of these weird Springer things up there.
Oh,
If you
okay.
Put pencils in it. It's up to you. You don't have to use it.
Okay,
Just wanted to point it out.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So then you took the year off. You worked.
Yeah, and then Toy Story or something happened. I don't know, but my mom's like, look, there's like I think we got an article from my uncle or something that's like animators making gazillion amounts of money, doing this. There was like a time in like the
So money is
early
what motivated
90s.
you to get into
Yeah,
animation?
well,
Whoa!
yeah, well,
what a dumb decision. Money is not the reason. Anybody who's working now,
well, no, I'm just,
money is not the thing.
Yeah, no, but that's what my mom, you know, so she's just worried that like, is this kid gonna be able to do something? What's happening here?
Well, that's cool. So did your mom push you into it?
Yeah, I mean a little bit, you know, and it seemed like computer animation was the thing, and then but I was never good in well, in a lot of things, but but in particular math, and you know, calculus, all this stuff. I couldn't.
It seemed like you had to know a lot of math back then.
Yeah, and there's a school, you know, Ringling School of Art.
Yeah, sure.
And so I applied there. They like my portfolio. You know,
like, what about the math?
Right. They're like, you gotta get those scores up, son. Those are not so good, and you gotta know.
You never had to learn math in the long run.
Yeah.
Computer animations.
So I don't know. So this isn't me, man. And this felt like my mom was pushing and stuff. And then at some point, it just kind of. I feel like I surrendered, you know, to a local school in Philadelphia, the Art Institute.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I just thought. Well,
why do you say you surrendered? Did you not want to do it?
Yeah, I mean, it was a 2-year program.
Yeah.
And all right, you know, I felt like I needed to do something.
Was it to get your mom off your back?
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah, a little bit, and it was local too, you know, and Love Park was right down the street.
Yeah.
You know, there's lots of skate spots and stuff like
yeah.
kind of around there.
So did you go there for the 2 years?
I did. I won't say too much. But I will say I did have a really good teacher there. His name was Mr. Martone.
Yeah.
And okay, here you go. So Mr. Martone was seemed to be well connected, and he would always make these little trips up to New York to visit Bill Plimpton.
Yeah.
And to get the kids inspired, you know.
Yeah.
And so the school was what it was, but Mr. Martone there was a real motivational force, and he had these like life drawing classes that he would do for free.
That's
and
cool.
You know, after hours, and you know, the school didn't really care, you know, if he had them or not. But
they didn't have the life drawing during the day as part of the thing.
No, I mean that was part of the curriculum, but he would do these extra like open classes that anybody could come to at night, you know,
nice.
sort of thing. And you know, he was a really good dude, great teacher. And anyway, so he took me up, and then we met Bill Plimpton.
Nice.
And through him met maybe some people from MTV or something. Yeah, eventually that led to MTV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was when was it to be like late '90s by that point?
Let me see. I met Machi.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
so Machi was the one who ran the MTV Animation Studio in the '90s. Beavis and Butthead.
Yes.
Daria, all that stuff that you remember.
Yes.
Machi was the one running the studio back then.
And I met her in California.
At California.
Yeah, imagine that.
I didn't think that.
Yeah.
The World Animation Celebration.
That would have been it.
I was there.
Were you?
Yeah, I was there at that one. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I met her there, and she said, "Well, you're from the East Coast. You guys came all the way out here." And there was like a small group of us, you know.
They had a really dumb idea to bring a bunch of animators, me and like 20 other people, like Karen Disher and. Trying to think of who else from the studio. A bunch of us, Eugene, Sue Parado, to come out and look at portfolios. And only spent like an hour looking at portfolios, and they flew us all out and gave us hotels and shit.
Wow.
It was the greatest trip ever. It was so fun. But really didn't need to do it.
Yeah.
I think that it might have been the first year of that World Animation Celebration. Which I don't think they do anymore.
No, is that
some version of it? It was somehow at one point affiliated with Animation Magazine.
I remember that.
But I'm not sure if it is anymore. Or
is
if
that
it
magazine still
exists.
around?
Oh yeah.
Is it? Okay. Sorry.
Wait,
you don't.
Jamie.
Jesus.
Don't you know? Yeah. Animation Magazine still exists.
Okay. Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear.
What other magazine are they going to write about animation in?
That's true.
And they still make a print magazine for it.
Do they?
Yeah, we get it.
I remember it was like a slow, gradual shift over to computer animation. You know, there used to be a lot more 2D in there, and then it shifted all of that to
Well, things
computer
go
stuff.
through cycles, I
They
guess.
certainly do.
So anyway, MTV, I think that's when I first became aware of you to some degree, right?
Mhm.
So you were on Daria, right?
Yeah.
Did you share a room with Christy?
I did. Yeah, Christy's an interesting guy, man.
Yeah.
Because we started on the same day.
Yeah.
And I remember people, or who was it? Someone around was like, maybe it was a joke or what, they were taking bets on if it was a guy or girl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Because of his name.
Because of his name.
You can't know.
And so we started on the same day. And I remember Christy saying, like, dude, we should, like, go around and meet people and, like,
Yeah.
And, like, and I'm like, oh, this guy is cool, man. Like, I like his attitude, you know? He's super positive and everything. And
Yeah.
It was great to, and I might be a little bit introverted, you know, so it was great to share the experience of the first day and coming into a new place with him, who is so good around new people and stuff. And he said, no, come on, let's go. We just gotta say hello, and you know, let's go see what they're doing over here and stuff. Okay, all right, let's do this.
That's cool.
Yeah. That was a fun time.
Yeah, you know, I started on the same day. It's funny, I just mentioned her
Mm-hmm.
as Karen Disher.
Okay.
We started the same day.
Okay.
We didn't go around and say hi to everybody.
Yeah, that was a problem.
We should have done that.
Yeah. You would have gone a lot further, Chris.
So then how was that room? You guys shared a room. Was everybody else in that room?
There was a few other people in that
Was
room.
Cowdy in there with you guys?
Who? Cody?
Yeah.
She took my space
Oh,
after I
that's
left.
Right on.
But when I started, it was me, Christy, Mike Baez,
Oh yeah.
and Kirk.
Right on. Yeah.
Etienne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good room. That was a fun.
That was a fun room. I was like,
Baez, hell of a draftsman.
close the door.
That guy's the only guy who could turn Beavis and Butthead that Mike Judge would approve of.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He didn't like anybody else's turns.
Wow.
Baez was the only guy who could hit it.
Yeah. He's a funny dude, man.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah, I like Mike. Yeah, it was a great room to come in as first job in animation. And then
So how long did you stay at MTV?
not so long. I think one full season of Daria, and before that I interned under Olivia Ward
Oh yeah.
and I think she might have helped bring me in also because she was like, yeah, I need help.
That makes sense.
Yeah, she was doing the design directing there.
Makes
And,
sense.
so I did
collect
that.
this tape. You know when
Uh-huh.
you did I started as a storyboard revisionist.
Okay.
You get the blue core tape. You know the tape. It wasn't as
Yes.
sticky.
Yes.
Use it for revisions because
Yes.
you might have to peel the revisions off.
Yeah.
And I had this idea that I was going to build a chair out of these blue cores because I
Uh-huh.
would collect them in a box. And then
Uh-huh.
word got around the studio that I was collecting these blue cores in a big box. People would always come and donate their blue cores, and we had this giant box
Right.
of blue core tape. And I remember Olivia somehow worked out at some point that the blue cores fit perfectly in the space between her lower lip and her chin, and she could put them there and talk, and it would just stay there because of the shape of her
Okay.
her chin.
Okay.
So yeah, that's my story about Olivia. Pretty good, right?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. I think Superado could do it too. There's a few people
Oh,
had the
yeah.
right shaped chin to hold the
Yeah,
blue
that's
core in place.
a genetic thing. I
Yeah, I
think
guess
had-
so. Yeah, I don't think that's a learned skill.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could never do it.
So I
So you did your stint
A little
on
bit
TV,
at MTV.
on the Daria,
And then
you're
Kirk goes down to Little Bill,
Oh yeah.
and he's like, "You gotta come down here. It's really good down here."
Yeah. That was on the 4th floor.
Yeah, that was on the 4th floor. So I went
We're all
down.
working in Times Square. That was
We
nice.
were working in
Yeah.
Times Square. And you know what I used to think? You go outside in Times Square, and there's the artists out there doing the portraits,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And I used to just think, God, these are the real artists
Yeah,
right here,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Art shops up there. These guys
Yeah.
were so good and super fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we started working there, and that was fun. But before that, Like during the break, I asked for some time off, and that's when I went to Japan for the first time.
Yeah, I was gonna get into that.
That was 98 or 99. I think it was 99. No, it was 98.
Yeah.
Because then I came back to Little Bill, worked for 1 year, and I didn't say anything to anybody. I already knew that, because I had such a good experience going to Japan and visiting my friend, and I knew I wanted to go back.
Yeah.
You know? And so I said, okay, I'll work this job for a year, and then I'm going to save money, and I'll go back. I go to school. I met, some good people.
So what happened during that first trip that made you want to know that you wanted to go back?
Okay, this is something that I didn't really connect, and I didn't really know or understand back then. No, really. But looking back, I didn't really connect with New York.
Gotcha.
Or the people around me there.
Yeah.
And I felt like, there were good people, I had some friends, but I don't know, something didn't connect with me there, And then when I
You're a
went
person who follows your instincts.
I guess so. I don't know, something. But I had a friend in Japan, and I went to, and she was teaching English. Okay, she's like, I live in this house. There's all these other people here, some from Australia, some Japanese hippie kids that are living here. And all right, that sounds fun. Let's, this Italian couple that were living there. And so I went there, and everybody was so cool. There was an incredible park, and this was the area that I later moved back to, Kichijoji area in Mitaka, West Tokyo.
Yeah.
And I just loved the area. I was like, this is incredible. And the people I met there, and it was like kind of an international community, but the Japanese kids that I met there everybody was super cool. And at that time I was still playing records, and so I kind of got in with the DJ kids there, and because that was a big part of my younger days.
Records?
Yeah, playing records in Philadelphia.
What kind of records?
Mostly hip hop and just electronic or hip hop or around that. And so that was there's a big scene for all of that in Japan, and made some friends that way the first time I went over. Everything's super cool here, and it's so interesting, and it's so foreign, and it's so everything's like But what they told me, what my friends told me, they're like, okay, you can tell you want to come back. You come back, go to school. Don't end up like a lot of the other foreigners. You be here for 10 years and you can only order a beer or something like that.
Yeah.
So I sort of took that advice, and when I came back to New York, started working at Little Bill, I had already started researching student visas and schools and where to go to. And so I just picked a school.
How'd you pick the school?
I think I just sort of looked online.
Yeah.
I remember using at that time, we weren't our computers weren't online.
Yeah.
So there was one, community computer that was online at Little Bill, and people would just walk by and check their email or something,
I remember that.
Yeah.
At MTV, like computers, there was this one near the Xerox machine, and
Yeah.
literally one of these ones you had to hit on the side of it. It was like an old Mac.
Yeah.
I want to say it was an iMac, but I think it was too early to be an iMac.
Yeah,
it was something right before an iMac.
Right. That's what we had at Little Bill, and that was a little bit later. So so
you researched this school.
Yeah, so I reached a school, and I just picked one. Okay, should be all right. And then I just went, did it next year.
And then you're there.
Yeah, and then
so
I'm there.
then you went to this school.
Yeah.
Then what happened?
And then what happened? That's where I met, Eun-young, who runs Science Saru.
She was on this show.
She was on this show?
Yuasa, she translated. So Yuasa was sitting here, and she sat and translated.
Really?
Everything he said. Yeah.
But you didn't have her on the...
Well,
okay.
She was on the camera, and she was talking.
Okay. I thought that'd be funny. She could corroborate some of this. No, but but we met at school. She was, ironically enough, my father, she was also a sculpture major in school in Korea. And so we hung out. And yeah, she was there with her brother. She had a funny, pretty cool family, and her father apparently was like, well, when he was going to Japan, told her brother, you go there too. Make sure she's okay.
Really? Yeah.
Her brother's like, yeah, okay. So
he was cool with it?
Yeah. And
did he like Japan too? Enough?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he actually, frustratingly, I think he sort of frustrated Eunyoung because he was one of these guys that was just like, and he is one of these guys who's just, he doesn't have to try too hard.
Oh,
he's just great at whatever it is he does.
He's natural.
And the teachers didn't know what to do with it. They just kept giving him books.
Yeah.
And he just kept devouring the books. And Eunyoung told me a funny story that when they were little, her grandmother speaks Japanese, and she would tell them before they go to school in the morning that they need to study their, kanji, the Chinese characters and stuff. Yeah. And Moonhan, her brother, would study, but Eunyoung was always like, oh, I don't need to do that. What do I need that for? And but anyway, so that was that. So that's where so we met there, and then let me think. Okay, so go back some years ago, right?
Yeah.
It was still the time of VHS.
Yeah.
And there was I like to tell this story because it really kind of impacted me. So like in terms of how I got into animation and like interested in it,
Yeah.
I saw Akira.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow,
that's a real good
God.
one.
Yeah.
That's a great one.
Yeah. And then some years later, I saw this video on it was on a show on MTV called AMP.
Yeah.
And it was on late at night.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that Ken Ishii video for Extra.
Yeah.
Directed by Koji Morimoto.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what the hell was going on in that video.
Yeah.
But that was the coolest thing I ever saw.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'm going to get a blank tape, because you never know when the videos are coming back on.
Exactly.
Right?
You didn't know back then.
No.
Hey,
you don't know.
You find it on YouTubes. They
Yeah.
didn't have the YouTubes.
No, there were no YouTubes.
Yeah.
So I got a blank VHS tape. I put it in, and then the next couple nights I just waited, and like record, and I got it.
Yeah.
And I just kept replaying it and trying to figure out this thread, what's going on in here,
Yeah.
And so that I always kind of remembered that. And then when I got to the town in Japan that my friend lived to, by that time I sort of forgot about that video, and it wasn't really on my mind or anything. But there was like these little alleys in this, in Japan they have those drinking streets.
Yeah.
Shoten guys they call them. And I remember walking down. I feel like I'm in that video, like these narrow corridors, and I thought, wow, And then it wasn't, sometime a little bit after that, I realized, well, that's his town.
Yeah.
I'm living, where he drinks and where he hangs out and stuff, and that so much of his inspiration comes from that area. And I found out there's a studio there, some animation studios, and I thought, all right, let me I don't know, put some stuff together and send some people and see.
So did you seek him out?
You know what? I saw him a couple times, on the street. Like one time in the supermarket.
Yeah?
Well, that's.
Did you say anything to him?
No, of course not. Because you don't want to be that stalker dude. Nah, so I just whoa, look at that. That's pretty cool.
What? Did my alarm not go off?
Yeah,
Is that no good?
Do we have to switch? Or?
Here, let me see. Oh yeah, I think it's about that time. All right, let's do it.
All right.
Let's do a little couple of Easter eggs for you to fill in, whatever, do whatever you want.
Oh man, I don't know.
So now we'll do the swapper.
Okay.
There we go. Nice.
I don't know what happened.
There's some horrible things happening.
Wow, look at this.
Volcanoes exploding. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like it.
Oh boy.
Nice. It's always fun to see because it's a mystery. Right?
Yeah,
You don't know what the other guy's doing
yeah.
until the swapperoo.
Oh, this is exciting.
Now we did the swapperoo.
I had a feeling underwear would make an appearance.
Yeah.
Gotta know.
I have a feeling, I do so many of these that it's like, I'm like, oh, man, I think I'm just drawing the same shit every time. But
I love it.
That's fine.
I love
if
it.
that's the case.
I'm so and poop.
Yeah.
Got poop. Okay, I'm excited. And it must be a little like I feel there's something to go off of now.
Yeah.
Starting from nothing is always the most difficult.
Yeah.
Going from 0 to 1.
That's true. So
I never. And then I made like a half-assed portfolio.
Yeah.
And I didn't send to any of the big companies, the big studios, because I was nervous.
All right.
To be honest. And actually, you want to hear something funny?
I do.
Okay. So Eunyoung and I find out, and Eunyoung's not in animation at this point.
Oh, really?
No.
Wow.
She's just like supporting me.
Wow.
She's not like supporting me, but she's just like, yeah, you do your thing.
Nice.
And I find out, well, there's this studio called 4 Degrees,
yeah.
and it's over here.
Yeah.
And okay, so and it's right in Kichijoji, like right around the corner from where we're living.
Yeah.
And let's go talk to him. And she's like, yeah, okay, you can tell him like you worked at MTV and you were interested in I don't know, something.
Yeah.
Just go say hi. And my mind was going back to MTV.
Yeah.
How there was the lobby area, which is kind of decked out and sort of cool. And sometimes like people will come up off the street or want a tour or something like that.
Yeah.
I kind of had that in mind,
Like that's what an animation studio was. Right?
Yeah. A well-funded animation studio,
Yeah.
Owned by Viacom.
Yeah.
Which 4C is not.
Yeah.
So we go, and this was probably 2000. Yeah, this was 2000, 2001, something like that. And, okay, 3rd, 4th floor, something like that. I think it was the 4th floor. We go up, and just the door's wide open. There's the studio. You see some posters for different things,
Yeah.
Spriggan and Extra and Akira and all this stuff. Like, wow. And we just walk right in.
Yeah.
Me and Eunyoung, yeah. And we're still students at this time, And then someone walked by and was like, can I help you?
What are you guys doing here?
Yeah. And I had this like, my Japanese, I couldn't, I wasn't good enough then.
Yeah.
And, which became clear real quick. And I just I totally froze up. And I was like, Jamie. And Eunyoung took over real quick.
Yeah.
And it's funny because looking back now, I'm like, oh, even back then, she was a director.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, here's the deal. This is Jamie, and he is an animator from in New York. And the guy was like, okay. And he's like, and he'd like to talk to somebody here, about he's come a long way, and we're both studying Japanese now. And
Nice.
And they're like, and they were really nice. I can't remember who it was. But he gave me the phone number of Tanaka Eiko, the owner of 4C, and of course they never used that. I never called her or anything. But that was the first. After that, we heard stories about crazy people coming into at least one crazy woman who came into the studio during the production of Mind Game.
Yeah.
And would just go over to animators' desks and pick up the animation, the paper, and flip through it and say, "This is garbage. This is garbage.
What?
This is garbage. This is," I don't know. That's
who was that person?
I don't know. But after that, they got these new doors and locks on the doors, I guess. So.
A Mind Game. You ever said that was garbage?
I don't know.
It was too new.
That was the story.
It was too innovative.
Maybe.
They didn't know.
Who knows? Crazy people.
So then what happened? Did you end up working there or what?
No, not then. I went to what did I do?
What did you do?
The first company I worked for, I think, was a small CG studio called Identify. Ooh. Clever, huh? Identify. Yeah. EYE.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was mostly, they did mostly CG stuff, And
So you end up working with the computers.
well, yes and no. Like they wanted somebody who to draw because they were all computer people. But in return, they said you have to learn Maya, dude.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. And I'm still corresponding at this point with friends back home that were on Little Bill, and it seemed like everybody was going into computers.
Alias way from Maya.
All that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
Yeah. Alias way from. So I said okay, and so we did some. I did some boarding there, and then I started working some other little places, and
So how long were you in Japan at this point?
2 years.
I know.
Yeah, this is my second year in. Yeah, I taught a little bit of English the first year, and
How do you get into doing that?
well, most of the foreigners that I was around were teaching English, and the first house that I lived in, a number of English teachers there, and I mean I kind of fought it for a little while, but they're like, you need money, and it's true. Like the awesome savings I had. Yeah. I thought I had when I moved there. Disappeared.
Especially Tokyo was expensive.
Disappeared pretty quickly after like 6 months. And I thought, okay, Jamie needs to find a real job. So I did that for a little bit. And it was it was an experience. It was fun. But then I started thinking like, what am I doing? This is not. And I kind of like started. I kind of freaked out a little bit.
I can dig that.
And so I just felt like maybe I should try something here,
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. So but I was still nervous about approaching the larger studios,
Yeah. So what did you end up doing? What gave you the confidence?
Well, because I got it. There's a million little studios over there.
Gotcha.
And doing all kinds of interesting stuff. They often work with really small teams.
Yeah.
So a CG artist will do lighting and animation and some modeling, and company with just a couple people,
Yeah.
And they get a lot done. And so there's all kinds of interesting small companies over there that a lot of people have never heard of.
Yeah.
So I felt like I got some good experience and figured out how to talk in that field, because there's a whole lingo and
Sure.
and meeting deadlines and what people expect.
You're not gonna find like the same like technical language in like in a class or in a book.
Yeah, exactly. And then at one point, I thought, this is crazy. I also had a dog at this point.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he was sick.
What was your dog's name?
Bernie.
Bernie.
And Bernie, we found. If nobody comes to pick up a dog pretty quick in Japan, they put him to sleep.
Oh,
So we were like, nah, that's cool. We'll take care of him. And we did, but he needed I don't know, he had something, so he needed medicine, and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Every month. That was.
Whoa.
Yeah. So, where was I going?
You do like dogs and cats.
You said
you do.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
I was hanging out with a dog last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any humans or just a dog?
Nah, it was a human. It was two humans and their dog.
Nice.
Lily.
Lily sounds like a good name for a dog.
Yeah, Lily's pretty cool. Yeah. So okay. So now where are we at? Probably 2004, 2003.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Right on.
And I thought, okay, that's where it was. This was a big part of my inspiration was I gotta take care of Bernie.
Yeah.
And but I couldn't go too far from because I got to walk the dog and everything.
Sure, yeah.
So I was like, well, what studios are in my area?
Yeah.
There was 4C right around the corner. There was Production IG, and there was Madhouse.
Yeah.
And so I made 3 portfolios, and I sent one to each. Madhouse was the first to get back to me.
Yeah.
4C never got back to me.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. And then IG got back to me. Yeah, and they were nice people. But Madhouse was the first, and I went there. I met Maruyama-san.
Oh yeah.
And that was a really funny experience going there for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
Well, That's when I met Cindy.
Oh,
Yamaguchi.
yeah.
And I went in. I brought my portfolio, and I had a demo reel on a DVD. I had this whole thing that I made, and I go into a room, and there's a bunch of producers. And long table, you know the table.
Sure, I do. Yeah.
There's a
that
bunch
was
of
the location that I knew the best.
Yep, the one in Ogikubo. Yeah. And so I went in there, and there's a bunch of producers, and then there were two directors in there, Sato-san, Sato Yuzo, and Kanemori-san.
Right on.
And they later kind of became my teachers.
Nice.
They had a lot of experience, and they were pretty incredible. So they all looked at my portfolio, were kind of passing it around. They had a young guy there who was there as an interpreter, but I didn't need the interpreter, and I think that made them because they didn't know what to expect. They're we never had a foreigner come here before who's in Japan. They said sometimes we get portfolios, but we don't know what to do with them because we don't know how to. We don't write them back, and they're not in Japan. But you're the first person to send us, or if not the first, then they don't get them so often. So they, I think more than anything, they just kind of wanted to see who I was.
And
cool. It was fun.
You ended up at the right studio for that.
Yes, and the
Moriyama-san is definitely like a friend to artists and will cultivate talent and
absolutely
try things out.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like you ended up in a good nurturing environment.
I got a really great impression from him the first time I met him. He's a character
he sure
to
is.
begin with, and he didn't stay there too long. He just came in. I remember him smiling, he waved, he came over to me, and then he just kind of looked around at everyone like, you guys deal with this. And then he left. I mean, it was obvious he was the owner, And it was a real funny experience because there was a lot of people in the room. They were all kind of, talking about, what I want to do. What do you want to do? What is you have in your portfolio? I had a lot of life drawings and just sketches and stuff. They never looked at my demo reel. No. And they're like, what do you want to do? And I was thinking about my dog.
Okay.
And I was, and I didn't have a job at that point. And I said, well, I have a dog and I need to feed him. And I mean, it was just the most ridiculous thing. I think I was really stressed or something, but it just came out really strange, like I need to pay rent, I have a dog, I need to feed him, I got to get his medicine, and they're like, and I said, this is what I want to do, and they're like, yeah, okay, we get that. Like everybody has to pay their rent and do that, but at the studio, what do you want to do, And I thought, oh, that's what you mean. I'm like, I just want to pay my bills and stuff, and make sure everything's cool. I don't owe anyone, And I said, oh, well, you guys are known for animation. I want to do animation here. I want to, I want to draw, and they're like, all right. And then showed me some cuts, some shots from what they were working on, and they were like, can you read this? Can you figure this out? And they say, After Effects, right? And I say, yeah, I know After Effects. After Effects. Yeah, and he does the timeline, the timeline's like this, yeah? He's like, this is the timesheet. It's the same, but it goes like this. Just up and down. After Effects is like this. I remember that gesture. It's like this, like this. Can you read that?
So you hadn't dealt with any X sheets back in the
No. Because I did a little bit of layout.
Come from that,
But mostly design. So I never had to really deal with the X sheets and stuff. Which, so I said, so I said, I can do that. I didn't know what I was agreeing to, but I said, I can do that. And they showed me shots from a show called Monster. It's it was a really famous manga, and it was becoming a TV series at the time. And Kanemori-san and Sato-san were directors on it, and they kind of supported me. They looked at my portfolio like, kind of, hand them to us, we'll take care of them. and but then they kept bringing in like other people.
Yeah.
To look through my portfolio, like what do they think, and Koike-san comes in,
Oh yeah.
and he looks through it and he's like, yeah, okay.
You guys ever see Redline?
Yeah,
Amazing.
director of Redline and some really great shorts that I love called Trava, Fist
Yeah.
Planet.
So good.
Love that.
Yeah.
So and at that point I knew. How did I know Koike-san's work? Maybe from Trava, Fist Planet, because I did some poking around a lot before. And anyway, so kind of got a nod from him. He comes, looks okay, and then he leaves, and then someone else comes in, looks okay, and leaves, and then Cindy comes in.
Yeah.
And she looks, and she doesn't speak any English. And Cindy Yamanuchi is another animator, Japanese American, who has been working in Japan for a long time. Actually, animated on Akira.
Yeah.
Although she won't tell me which shots were hers.
Oh, yeah?
That's the mystery. Yeah, she's like, I'm not telling anybody. Yeah, and so she sat down and just listening, and they're like, you think you can animate? I said, yeah, I can do this. So it was cool. And then Cindy started speaking English, and I thought, whoa.
Yeah, when I knew her,
Uh-huh.
she spoke English very well.
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah.
So she just didn't tell you she spoke
No.
English.
She was just kind of like there, just sort
Yeah.
of, sitting back and, okay.
So I first probably dealt with her in 2002,
Uh-huh.
maybe? So
Uh-huh.
I met her somewhere around there.
Okay. It's probably about the same time.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
You were probably there
Ah.
multiple times at
Yeah,
the same
yeah,
time. Yeah.
I remember that time that I saw you and Shannon there.
Yeah, that
And I was just walking by the conference room, and I thought,
Yeah.
what is that? Yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. That's when I was over there directing the intro to the Afro Samurai series.
Oh, is that what
And
that was?
I went over there for Gonzo. It's the Japanese process is so meticulous.
Mhm.
And I wanted to go over and see Met because they had moved. That was the new location.
Right.
That was in there in the nice, the fancy office building.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
and they were like, "There's an American here," and they didn't no one told me your name or anything.
Oh,
At
really?
the time, they're like, "There's an American who sits over here.
Do you
must
know
him." And I'm like,
He's
"I
from America.
Maybe,
You must."
It turned out I did, but I remember going to do the big meeting with Gonzo about the
For
intro
Okay.
and just every step. I think for an hour they described the process of how they do exposure sheets,
Right.
and then at the end it was just politely listen. It's like, yes, that's exactly how we do it as well. So we went over every step, every shot in the storyboard. They're because it was a weird thing where I was boarding and we were doing the rough key animation in the U.S. Dave Vandervoort was animating on it.
Oh, okay.
And then we sent it to Gonzo to basically be cleaned up and put on model because they were nervous that we wouldn't be able to hit the style, which I think they were absolutely right about. So, but yeah, we went through every single step.
But this wasn't the original, the Koike.
No, this is
pilot.
I wish they did the Koike version.
I know, right?
This was the subsequent version.
Okay.
Which was still cool.
Yeah.
Still very cool.
Oh, so you guys
But
did the opening for that.
The Koike version was shit. I
tell
saw
you.
that slicing in half and the the fucking cycle of those feet in the sex scene.
Yeah.
So good. You look at that shit.
Get
you're
it.
like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
The bridge with the big fucking
Oh,
giant who's
my.
puzzled and then swung up and he just fucking
And the
sits
old
there.
guy with the cell.
Look for it on the internet. I'm sure it exists. It's the
Yes.
the teaser trailer that sold Afro Samurai. That's
Yes.
the one that Sam Jackson saw.
Yep.
And was like,
It was
I want
like,
to make this.
Let's do it.
And then, yeah.
Yeah. I remember being, there was a young, I don't know if he was like a producer or But it was a guy who kind of befriended me when I was there, and he was on the business side of things with me. He's like, "You want to see something?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, I want to see something." He's like, "Come on, I'll show you."
Yeah.
And it was like real top secret back then, because it was like,
sure.
you know,
Yeah.
so a bit of tension between Gonzo and Madhouse at the time,
of course. Yeah.
and because of all of that. And he took me into a room, and he's like, "I can show you once, and that's it.
Yeah.
You can't tell anyone else." So, okay, what is it? And that's what it was.
Yeah, that must have blown your mind. I know it blew my mind when I first saw
I
it.
said, "What? What?" He's like, "Can't talk about it."
Yeah.
But what? Can't talk about it.
What is it?
Yeah. Oh man, I think
The early days of Titmouse.
Yeah.
All we did, I mean, Juno and I, all we did was pass around that Quake stuff. Like, whenever we could see it, we'd be like, look at this shit. Juno was the one who forced me to watch Mind Game. Like, he had like a burned, like, pirate DVD of it. And he's like, you have to watch this. This is Yuasa's thing now. We're off of Quake. And he was like, you have to watch this. And I was like, all right, man. He's like, no. Like, don't just say you're going to watch it.
Yeah.
Like, you actually have to watch this. And I was like, all right, sure.
You can't just watch clips. You gotta
you have to watch this thing. Because he knew me enough. I'd be like, yeah, I'll get to it eventually. But, like, he was so adamant about it, and I'm glad he was.
Yeah.
Because that thing still has yet to be topped, I think.
Really sad, man, what happened with that.
Yeah?
I mean, just that, you can watch the whole movie now on YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't know, I guess it'll find its place, but, it's already... I don't know, I mean...
What is sad about that?
Well...
Millions of people around the world can look at an amazing movie.
Yeah, but there are millions of people that don't know about it.
Oh, I get you. Yeah, but that's it. That movie is for real fans of animation.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody. In a good way, in the best possible way.
Some films get out there, that one never really was able to get out there.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I have a skewed point of view since I only know weirdo animators.
Yeah.
Everybody I know
knows of it, yeah.
Yeah. So, I guess,
Yeah.
As many people see that as they will see Sausage Party, probably not. But they should see it. Mind Game, everybody.
Yeah. That was incredible. That's where I really started, and there are people that are afraid to work with, not afraid, but, don't want to work with Yuasa-san because of the perspective that he uses.
Oh, really?
And I remember, because he came to Madhouse, and I remember I started seeing him at Madhouse, and I thought, whoa, this guy's here.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I recognize that guy,
Yeah.
And I'd see him going back and forth to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I follow him back from the bathroom. I think
you follow him to the bathroom.
No, because I think we went to the urinal at the same time one day, and I was like, I want to find out where this guy sits. So I followed him, and he sat right behind Cindy. And then I was looking, and then when he got up again, I ran over to his desk to see what he was doing, and he had all these National Geographic and magazines and pictures of fish and all this stuff. What's going on? And it looked like Mind Game, And Cindy was like, yeah, he's doing some TV series or something. And it turned out that was the first episode of he was working on of Kemonozume.
Oh, nice.
And I said, well, I got to get involved with that. How do I do that? But I was already working on something at the time.
When did you end up? So you were back and forth Madhouse. You ended up at 4C at some point, right?
Oh yeah, a little bit later on when 4C started doing these things called Genius Party.
Gotcha.
And the few people around me, one guy in particular, was working on one of Morimoto's son's Genius Party shorts.
Nice.
And he wanted to introduce me to Morimoto-san. He said Morimoto-san wanted to try and use different people that he doesn't use, maybe younger animators or people with a different experience or something.
What a great opportunity.
Yeah, so that's when Eun-young and I had met Morimoto-san at that time. And that's when I started doing more freelance for 4C and then jumping onto other projects with 4C.
When did you work on the Batman skateboarding thing?
That was with that was just after TechCon Kinkuri. And I remember meeting Nishimi-san, the character designer and animation director for TechCon, and he still looked tired, you know, because they had just finished the movie, and they still just kind of like, oh, kind of, oh
it's
man,
an ambitious movie.
Yeah, it was incredible, and I remember working on Kemonozume, and there were at Madhouse, and there were some people that were, you know, also working on TechCon. And so I'd see the character sheets, you know, and like, oh wow, he's working on this one. This is crazy. That's Mike's movie. That, you know, and, oh man. But I didn't get a chance to work on that. So their next thing was the Batman.
Yeah.
And part of that came about because some of those Genius Party shorts. Actually, there was one that they asked me if I wanted to do all the animation for.
Yeah.
Like alone.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah. Are you crazy? But yeah, okay. And that was for Nicolas de Crécy.
Ah, right on.
Yeah, the French comic artist.
Yeah.
Background designer, and he had this story, it was all boarded and everything, and that was supposed to be one of the Genius Party shorts. And they told the producers at 4C said they're having difficulty finding people to animate on it because it's such a different style that they're nervous. Yeah. So I said, well, I'll do it. Oh, okay. And so we waited around a long time for that. Unfortunately, it never happened. Some illegal technicalities between a French production and Japan and such. But in the interim, they're like, well, while you're waiting, you know, we have Batman going on. We got the Genius Party stuff, and so I started jumping on all this other stuff. And it worked out well. And I like those guys a lot.
So, at some point, you decided to come back here
to
the USA, and we got in contact. How did we get in contact again? I can't.
Well, the first time was when I saw you and Shannon at Madhouse.
Yeah.
And I remember
but then years went by before you came back.
Yeah, a few years, and I remember at that time you guys said, you know, whenever you come back to the States, you know, give a call. And I just always remembered that.
And you did.
Yeah, and I did. And I remember, I guess I emailed you or something, and you were working on Motorcity.
Yeah.
Or getting ready to
that's right. And
jump
I think
into
I was
production.
like, come out to LA, we'll find a gig for you.
Yeah.
I had a crazy promise that I never would make these days.
You're like,
I've learned too much. I've learned too wise to just randomly.
Well, no, but you said that it would be perfect time, and I think we're working on something I think you'd be great for. And that was Motorcity.
Yeah. And you did a great job, man. It brought you into. I gave you all what I used to call the crazy shit.
Yeah.
It's like, we're going to make this one the crazy shit. I remember being really impressed by, I was like, Jamie, we got to figure out a way to make this video game controller shot feel like dynamic and crazy. I don't know how we're going to do it, but I trust you to figure out a way. And you damn did it, man. It was great with the thumbs and the stretching and going over it into the car. And that was such a fun time because anything that anybody storyboarded, we were crazy enough to try and figure out a way to actually pull it off.
Yeah.
It was that was a special time.
And I felt like I came with a lot of energy, you know, like I felt I'm just coming back from, and like I just felt so ready to like jump into something. Unfortunately, I couldn't use the computer so well, so I remember doing all these little pieces of paper, and they're like, do you need someone to scan this stuff for you, Jamie? Really? How long is this gonna take?
I remember talking to you about like, if you're getting up to like, you know, 200 shots in your act, just give me a shot. You don't need to do so many shots.
I drew too much.
But and then Randy Cunningham after that.
Yeah.
Went on the board on that.
That was really fun.
Yeah, I always took that show, and then I remember some of the younger guys like Ben Lee and Jeremy Polgar and guys coming up with a nickname for you that you didn't particularly enjoy.
I didn't like.
Do you remember that nickname?
I do. I don't really want to talk about it.
I just have to say it.
All right.
It was legend.
Yeah.
Because of all your work and all the stuff that they loved.
Yep.
So how did that name come about?
I think it was Jeremy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds pretty Jeremy, huh?
Yeah, it does.
Get out of here. After we share it. After.
What's that? It's about time. All right.
Oh, really?
So
And
anyway,
then do we wrap up somehow? Or?
let's see, we didn't get into your art theory.
My art
We didn't
theory?
get much into your travels. But can you tell me, just to wrap it up, tell me a little bit about your guy, your poop man idea. I like the guy who poops.
John Lou?
Yeah, John Lou. Tell me a little bit about that one.
Yeah, John Lou holds a special place in my heart and on the toilet.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's something I'm working on. Been working on it a little bit.
Yeah.
Here
I
and
think
there.
it's amazing.
Thank you.
Because you think it's just a poop joke. But
No,
it's way
it's-
deeper than that.
Yeah, it's not just any poop joke.
Yeah.
You know, he's kind of a flunky that becomes enlightened real quick somehow while on the toilet. And yeah, and then I still have trouble.
You're still working it out?
Still working
That's
it
fun.
out.
Well, anyways,
Anyway,
Jamie's doing a comic and a whole project.
and he's doing a travel book on
and a travel book.
Yeah, not like
I was going to say, is there anything you want to plug?
There
Over
is.
here, you got a Tumblr? You got anything
I
like
have
that?
an Instagram called. I have an Instagram and it's called Wandering Scribbles
Nice.
because I wander sometimes
Yeah.
and I scribble.
You do a lot of scribbling.
Yeah, dude.
I told you this was going to go fast.
Yeah.
All right, I guess this is it. So
Oh,
any
man.
final parting words? Jamie Vickers,
Thank you,
legend. Sorry.
Thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun.
All right, here we go. We did it.
Okay.
Again, tongue and pencil. Now here's where we sign it. All right.
Okay.
I'm going to sign this one on the bottom. You come by, sign this one. I'll go sign that one. And then
Okay.
we can see the fun, magical part where we get to see each other's drawing. That's
Wow.
awesome. All right, look at this. We did it.
Oh man, we gotta have part 2.
Chirp.